Hi, I'm Enchanting Nubianette. Welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Let's talk about what happened to Prince Irving, a 12-year-old African American boy who was just trying to have fun and enjoy riding his bike with friends in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, what would have been a carefree Sunday turned into a traumatic encounter with law enforcement that unfortunately left him handcuffed, jailed, and stripped of his innocence. A 12-year-old, everyone. Now, Prince was riding with a group of over 50 bikers. There were kids and even adults. And at this time, he noticed a police cruiser trailing them. Now, according to Prince, the officer hit the back of his friend's bike, seemingly trying to knock him off. Now, fearing for his safety, Prince tried to get away, but he blew a tire. And that's when the officers caught up with him. They threw him to the ground, and you know how rough they can be, especially when it comes to African Americans and people of color. And they handcuffed him. On top of that, he was charged with reckless driving on a bicycle. Now, everyone, let's pause. Let's think about this. Reckless driving on a bike. And again, he was only 12 years old. Now, under North Carolina law, bicycles are considered vehicles. So technically, yes, you can be charged. Now, everyone, this is new to me. I never knew that any state had this type of law. Maybe you were familiar. Please leave your comments below if you live in North Carolina and you've heard of situations or incidents like this. So let's be real, everyone. This was a child, not a threat. And there was no collision because Prince did not hit anyone. He didn't hit any pedestrians or any animals. There was no injury to anyone else while he was riding his bike. Not for any of the bikers or any pedestrians or anyone even driving their car. There was no property damage to anything as well. So why the cuffs? Why the squad car? And why the jail cell? Now, Prince's mother, Jasmine Irvin, she got a panic call from one of his friends and rushed to pick him up from jail. Now, she described her son as, in quotes, terrified and traumatized, end of quotes. And who wouldn't be? This is a child. Imagine being chased by a grown man in a car, thrown to the ground, and then locked up, all for riding your bike. Extremely traumatizing. And I really hope that he gets counseling therapy and a lot of, even talk therapy for this, because it's going to take him a good while to get over this horrible incident. Now, the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department claims that they acted to ensure safety, citing past incidents of large bike groups causing disruptions. But everyone, this wasn't about safety. It was about control. We definitely can see all the different aspects of this. This was clearly about putting fear in this child. He was having a fun, carefree day like any child should. And if anything, the police officer should make him feel protected. But again, because of his melanin, he had the opposite experience. Now, regarding the police officers saying that, there were incidents of large bike groups causing disruptions in the past, I read an article and it says that 3 years ago, the city had cracked down on large groups of young bicycle riders. Some of them were accused of playing chicken with traffic and also using violence against drivers. But police didn't have any evidence of him doing anything like this. And even Prince and his mother said that Sunday's incident was not related to any gang. He was just out for a ride with friends. And sadly, everyone, like I said, Prince was sent to jail. And his mother did mention again that it was about a system. It's not about safety. It's about the system that sees Black boys as threats before it sees them as children. Now, Jasmine put it best. She said in quotes, "He's a little Black boy. He is mine and he is somebody. They're not going to do my son like that because that's not okay. He's not an animal." End of quotes. So let's be clear. This is not a parenting issue. It's a policing issue. So officers, they definitely could have issued a warning. Why treat this boy so roughly? Have him in the back of a squad car. And again, because of his melanin, it's to humiliate him, put fear into him, lower his energy, and again, control. They could have issued a warning. They definitely should have called his mother. Doesn't the law say if there's a child that the parent should be called even before the child is questioned, especially in this case, he's not caught in any, major crime. His parents should have been called. Instead, they chose to use force. So this, everyone, really demands accountability, prompt accountability. So this case is under active investigation, as it should. And Jasmine, she has spoken with Internal Affairs. But unfortunately, everyone, the damage is done. Prince hasn't gotten back on his bike. And I really, really hope and pray that Internal Affairs and other news media and other community members will definitely make sure that, these police officers are held accountable, especially because of children. He's not even a teenager, 12 years old. He doesn't have any record. And again, they should have called his parent before they even, had this type of case, before this escalated. But again, unfortunately, this happened to him because of his melanin. Because if he didn't have a melanin, if he was a Caucasian child, this would not have been the result, guaranteed. So thankfully, the man, okay, I'm going to say this, that Prince hasn't gotten his bike back, so he wasn't riding, but thankfully the same man actually who filmed the arrest, bought him a new bike. This is wonderful. This is a huge act of kindness. And thankfully, this is another act of positivity to uplift his spirit, because I could imagine how down this little boy is right now. Horrible, extremely horrible when, adults act this way. So this story, our YouTube family, isn't only about Prince. It's definitely about every single, Black child that has been over-policed, misunderstood, and mistreated. It's definitely about a system that needs to do better. Thankfully, there were so many witnesses who was able to record what was happening to this little boy and was advocating for him when his mother didn't even realize what was happening. Thank goodness he had friends that he was biking with and that called his mother. Imagine if he was biking by himself. Imagine if it was in a desolate area, isolated area where no one saw, what was happening. Thankfully, this little boy is alive, but again, he should not have gone through that traumatic, heartless, evil act, using force against him and even to create a record. That really disgusts me. So I really hope to hear that these police officers will be held accountable. The system definitely needs to do a lot better, 100% better. And it's definitely up to us, as community members, people who are parents, advocates, people of all age groups, even children, to demand better, to be even louder and unapologetic. Unapologetic when it comes to this. This is really disgraceful. So again, I'm hoping that the active investigation is very in-depth and that CMPD's Internal Affairs Department will definitely, do as much as possible to make sure that, the children in the future and other people of color will definitely have a fair chance. This is nonsense, riding recklessly. The tire, the tire actually lost air. So of course you're going to be, riding erratically. That's not his fault. So everyone, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and please like, share. Please share this story with others. And please subscribe to my channel. Stay safe wherever you are and keep your head on a swivel.
Friends. Queen City News reporter David Schumann spoke to them about how he ended up in the back of a squad car.
A stranger recorded this video of Prince Irvin handcuffed in the back of a CMPD car on Sunday. Bystanders questioned officers about what was going on.
What crime did he commit? Reckless driving. Reckless driving on a bicycle. Yes. Did he hit a car?
Prince's mom, Jasmine, says she picked her son up at the jailhouse after a panicked call from one of his friends.
Terrified, traumatized. That's how he feels. He shouldn't have to.
Prince says he was riding his bike in Uptown with a group of more than 50 people, kids and adults. He noticed a police car trailing them for a few blocks. Prince says the lights flipped on and a chase began.
He hit the back of my friend's bike. Like he tried to hit him off the bike basically. I was not gonna stay there so they could do the same to me.
In South End, and now alone, Prince says officers caught up to him when he blew a tire.
When I was putting my hands behind my back, I was on the ground. So when they was picking me up, they was still like manhandling me. Like
Jasmine says the experience has taken away her child's innocence.
You gonna run, you going home to your mother. You wanna feel safe and protected. This big man chasing you with a car and you a little boy on a bike. What you think he gonna do to you if he already hitting your friends?
Information on the case is limited because Prince is a minor, but Charlotte-Mecklenburg police say in a statement, officers acted to ensure the safety of the individual seen in the video based on the circumstances at the time. The department regularly responds to reports of individuals riding bicycles in a manner that poses a danger to themselves or others on city roadways. This arrest comes 3 years after the city cracked down on large groups of young bicycle riders, some who were accused of playing chicken with traffic and sometimes using violence against drivers. Prince and his mother say Sunday's incident was not related to any gang and he was just out for a ride. Prince hasn't gotten his bike back, but in a remarkable act of kindness, the man who recorded the arrest bought Prince a new one. Prince and Jasmine are both grateful.
He's a child. He's a little black boy. He is mine, and he is somebody. And that's what I want these people to know. They're not going to do my son like that because that is not okay. He's not an animal.
In Charlotte, David Schumann, Queen City.